Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and the Seattle Seahawks absolutely crushed the Washington Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Yes, your Seattle Seahawks showed the Commanders where the real Washington is in this country. And it wasn't just one player came out with a good performance. It wasn't like, it was all Sam Darnold all by himself. The rushing attack wasn't just murdering, getting through, slicing through this defense. JSN had another good game, but not a game where it blew your doors off. You had a all-around strong game from your Seattle Seahawks. The offense looked good, the defense looked good, and you really shut down the Commanders on all phases of this game. They couldn't stop you. They couldn't stay on the field long enough, and even the special teams unit ended up fumbling the football, unable to keep it going there. As you go through the stats, obviously Jaden Daniels ended up, unfortunately, having a bad, horrific injury to his elbow or his arm overall. So our prayers are with him. That sucks. You never like to see a strong player like Jaden Daniels, a player that is as good as Jaden Daniels, end up having to miss as much time as he unfortunately is going to end up having to miss after that injury. Chris Rodriguez, very impressive against the Seahawks Commanders running back, ran the ball really well. And then Zach Ertz showed that, yeah, man, he might be a little bit old, but this thing isn't over for him. I want to dive in more on your Seattle Seahawks, but I will say this. Going through this one, Sam Darnold was nearly perfect. 21 of 24 for 330 yards. Kid is special. Kid is special right now for your Seattle Seahawks. I understand that there's the interception, right? He's got the blemish. It wasn't perfect. But at one point, he was 17 for 17 in this game and tied a franchise record for most amount of yards or passes, completed in a row. He started 17 for 17. And he was spreading the ball around. He didn't just throw it to Torrey Horton. He didn't just throw it to Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Of course, they had a bunch of yards for him. But he found A.J. Barner. He found Elijah Arroyo. He found the open targets in this one. And it was a very impressive performance from a player who was missing probably his second favorite target in Cooper Kupp. Your Seahawks just won 3 straight. Make sure you go in and you smash that like button. We love when the Seahawks get those victories, so go and smash that like button for a Seahawks dub. Now, I want to dive into what's going on for your Seattle Seahawks and my initial immediate reaction in the aftermath of what was just flat out an ass kicking in Washington. The first thing is Jaxon Smith-Njigba is special. And I think too often we talk about, oh, hey, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, he's special. Like, he's a really good player. No. He's an MVP candidate. He shouldn't just be an Offensive Player of the Year candidate. He is an MVP candidate. He and Isaac Bruce are the first receivers who are under the age of 24 years old who have gotten to 900 yards receiving before their 8th game of the season. Another stellar performance. 8 receptions. He basically had 100 yards by the half, right? And so then the Seahawks kind of called off the dogs, didn't have to use him quite as much. He didn't get into the end zone in this one, but you didn't need him to get into the end zone for you. Torrey Horton just kept getting open, and then Cody White had an incredible play, right? He's averaging, every time he touches the ball, he's getting an insane amount of yards. Shout out to Cody White, by the way. Congratulations to you, man. Great haircut, 1, 2, first NFL touchdown, getting called up from the practice squad. Great job. Torrey Horton was great in this one. You have all these great performances from these receivers, but again, the most important, the one that's always going to stand out, is Jaxon Smith-Njigba. He is the straw that stirs the drink. Cody White doesn't get open if JSN isn't doing the things that he does for you offensively. Torrey Horton isn't running all by himself. Easy touchdown passes for Sam Darnold if Jaxon Smith-Njigba isn't able to make the catches that he does in the slot and on the outside. He's an MVP candidate. He isn't just an Offensive Player of the Year candidate. Here's the problem, though. He's going to be fighting out with his quarterback for that MVP spot. Sam Darnold was awesome. He was awesome in this game. He started out the game 17 for 7 freaking teen. Honestly, if JSN goes and fights for a ball more, he might have gone 18 for 18. Sam Darnold was perfect. Look at this stat line. Jayden Daniels is a good quarterback. He dog-walked him. He has one blemish. He throws a bad ball where he's scrambling and he throws it right to the receiver instead of trying to lead the receiver. Cody White can't stop fast enough. It allows for an interception to be had. Everything else is just incomplete. And they're easily not catchable balls. And he spreads the ball around. He's finding his tight end targets. Elijah Arroyo gets his first NFL touchdown. Cody White gets his first NFL touchdown in this one. For the most part, his receivers are having opportunities to catch the ball and run after the catch. This is a really freaking good team, and it's because you have a surgical quarterback back there for you, finding the open players every single chance that he gets. Last year was not an anomaly, and at this point, I would say with Sam Darnold, last year was just the beginning. It took him a little bit to figure out who he was and what he was. But he's an MVP candidate. He's that freaking good. I understand. I'm hyperbolic. I'm biased. I'm really excited right now. Sam Darnold is an MVP candidate, and he needs more love. You have one of the best defenses in the NFL. The only reason that Washington was able to move at all was because Jayden Daniels was running for his life this entire game. He was running for his freaking life. Leonard Williams was in the backfield. DeMarcus Lawrence was in the backfield. You were shutting him down. It was so impressive to see. You are special defensively. I can't wait to dive into it more. But before I do that, I want to know what your one-word reaction is to this game. I'd say it was dominant, but I've said dominant too much. To me, this was an arrival. You arrived. You arrived as a top team in the NFL. This was the arrival of not the Seattle Seahawks special, not the Seattle Seahawks NFC West contenders. This was the arrival of Seahawks Super Bowl contention. We're going to expand a little bit more on my reasoning for picking the defense here in just a moment, but I need to let you know who the proud sponsor of today's episode is, and that, of course, is our friends over at Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but being right on Prize Picks can get you paid. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you can cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off, which ones are overhyped. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. I have a 2-pick power play for this week. Sam Darnold, more on his pass yards. George Pickens, more on his receiving yards. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Now look at the Commanders' offensive statistics against this defense. 290 yards. You weren't able to do anything offensively. Sam Darnold had more than the Commanders by himself. The passing yards that you had, they all went to Zach Ertz. Or they came in garbage time when no one cared anymore. The rushing yards, yeah, it looks good, 4.4 per average. They're all from Jayden Daniels, and they're all from when he was scrambling, running around, almost getting dragged down every single play by Byron Murphy and by Leonard Williams. You dominated this team, man. You dominated the Commanders. Every time I looked up, Leonard Williams was chasing down Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels had to run for his life. There was no passing yards because he didn't have time to throw the ball. The only time that Deebo Samuel caught a ball was because it got flipped out right to him. Derek Hall in his game back after his oblique injury, making big plays. Should have had a sack. Jayden Daniels just is a very impressive player, an incredible player, and he was able to get out of one. Byron Murphy continues his sophomore campaign of showing everybody just how good he is. DeMarcus Lawrence was the best signing that you made on that defensive line, and I think you might be able to add to him as well. This defense is special. special. And you got one of your leaders back. And he was absolutely making plays. And what it doesn't show here as well, Devin Witherspoon forced the interception for Tyokutta. He gets into the backfield and hits Jaden Daniels right as he's throwing the ball up. Tyokutta, incredible catch, toe tapping on the sideline. I can't talk enough about this defense. Mike Macdonald was brought in to create a super defense, to create a defense that was going to have you competing for championships. And he's done so. He's done so. You have a special team, man. You have a special freaking team. I can't believe it. I love it. And frankly, at this point, I'm thinking Soupy for sure. Now, my last takeaway, unfortunately, is going to be a negative one. I'm worried about Ernest Jones. Not a doctor, so I don't know. He got rolled up on. He had an injury to his knee. Now, here's where I guess I can read into the tea leaves a little bit. You got to see him on the sideline. Now, was he in street clothes? Yes. Was he running around, jumping around, being excited for your team? Yes. To me, that's good news. Does that mean that he won't miss any time? No, that doesn't mean he won't miss any time. But what it does mean is that he probably isn't done for the season. Might he have to go on IR? I don't know. But look at that performance. And he played a half. He played a half for you. 6 tackles. That's a pretty darn good job. He's putting your guys in the right spot. He's the leader of this defense. You've basically gone this entire year without at least 2 of your top defensive players between like the mouthpieces. What do I mean by that? Devin Witherspoon, Ernest Jones, Julian Love. They are the ones who are directing traffic for your defense, getting guys in the right spot. You just finally got Devin Witherspoon back. You don't want to lose Ernest Jones for too long. You don't want to lose Ernest Jones for too long. These are my takeaways, man. You got 2 MVP candidates. You got 2 guys with real, legit opportunities to be special players for you. I think you have the best defense in the NFL. I really freaking do, man. This defense is awesome. But I am worried about Ernest Jones. You don't want to be missing your captain for too much longer. We're on the road to 75K subs. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? We're so close. I can taste it. I want to get to that 75K mark before we go out and see our Seahawks on the field later on against the Arizona Cardinals. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't as well, go and smash that like button on this video. And until next time, I will see you later.